I'm Terry Carter with the University of Georgia's Cobb County Extension Services, and we have a wonderful recipe for you today that's simple and no cooking is necessary. So all you're going to have to do is bring everything together early. So we have what we call a tomato, cucumber, and onion salad. Now, when I was growing up as a little girl, this was a go-to recipe that my grandmother made. Now, I really didn't particularly like the tomatoes. We just basically did the cucumber and onions without the tomatoes. But I'm going to be adding in the tomatoes today, and I'm using cherry type or grape tomatoes because I don't like the really big tomatoes. This is much easier. So let me go ahead and get everything together here and let you know what we use for this recipe. The recipe calls for cucumbers, and it specifically says in English cucumber, but you don't have to use an English cucumber, use whatever you have. But what I did was to peel the cucumber, and then I de-seeded the cucumber as well. And this is just a regular plain old cucumber. And then of course I have the tomatoes, and I have tomatoes that are three colors. They are red, yellow, and orange. And then of course I have my onions. So today I'll be using the delicious Vidalia onions that are from Vidalia, Georgia, in the Vidalia growing region of our state. So I'm very happy to have these. I'm excited about tasting these. And if I had a preference, I would use the Vidalia onion, but of course you can use a regular sweet onion. You could even use a white onion, and if you wanted some color, you could use the purple onion as well. So let's get started with this recipe. Once again, very easy to come together. So I have olive oil here, adding in my olive oil, and that is about 2 tablespoons of olive oil. I have wine vinegar here. This is white wine vinegar. The recipe actually calls for red wine vinegar, so you can use the red wine, you can use white wine, you could even use apple cider vinegar. It really doesn't matter what kind of vinegar you use, it's totally up to you. So we have our vinegar and oil in there. We're going to go ahead and add in some dried basil. We also have some dried dill weed. All right, and we have some fresh parsley chopped up, okay? And then last but not least, salt and pepper has to go in. All right, and that is our basic salad dressing. And look how easy that came together quickly. So I'm just going to kind of mix this up here and get it going. And if you feel as though you want to add more vinegar or more oil to it once you get finished, you can go ahead and do that, and you can add more seasoning if you like as well. So next we're going to go ahead and add in our onions, and this is a half of an onion. And so depending on the size of the onion, that will dictate how much you put in. Now, this was the onion I used, and I used a little over half of this one. So you see I cut off a little bit of the top and added. That's because I love onions, okay? So that's our onions, and I'm going to mix those up a little bit. And then here are our tomatoes. And once again, 3 colored tomatoes, just because it makes it look really pretty to add the different colors in. And last but not least is our cucumber. All right, how easy was that to bring together? Now you want to start to mix this up, and you really want this to marinate a little while because you want those flavors to really go through and get on those onions and tomatoes and cucumbers. And at this point, I would say I would probably add in just a little bit more vinegar and maybe a little bit more oil just to give it a little bit more going on here. But the main thing is you want to let this sit in the refrigerator and cool for at least 30 minutes. And if you have time to do that, let it just settle for a while, come back, taste it, and see if it needs more seasoning. You can check to see if it needs more salt or more pepper, or if you want to add a little bit more vinegar and oil. And how easy was that? And this is a salad that you can take with you if you're going on a picnic. It's easy. We're growing a lot of cucumbers, and we're also growing a lot of tomatoes in the garden. Not really onion season for our gardens right now, but you could go ahead and grow your own onions. But I definitely will be using my cucumbers and my tomatoes from the garden. So thank you so much, and I hope you make this recipe because it is delicious. Bye-bye.